It usually starts with a knock. Not a loud knock, not aggressive, just enough to make you pause and wonder if you really heard it. Across the United States, from quiet suburban neighborhoods to lonely highways in the middle of nowhere, people have reported the same unsettling experience. A knock on the door late at night. 2 children standing outside. Pale skin. Blank expressions. And eyes that are completely black. No whites, no pupils. Just darkness. The first widely documented reports appeared in the late 1990s, but witnesses insist the encounters go back much further. They all tell their stories the same way. Calm at first, curious, and then terrified once they realize something is deeply wrong. One of the most famous encounters happened in Texas. A man was sitting alone in his car late at night, parked outside a movie theater. He was reading when there was a sudden knock on his window. 2 boys stood beside the car. They looked to be around 10 to 12 years old, both wearing hooded sweatshirts. They asked him for a ride home. At first, he felt uneasy but couldn't explain why. Their voices were soft, rehearsed, and unnatural, as if they had practiced their lines. When he tried to say no, a sudden wave of panic washed over him. His heart raced. His hands trembled. Then he looked into their eyes. They were completely black. The man slammed his foot on the gas and sped away without another word. Later that night, he described feeling as if something had followed him home, lingering just outside his field of vision. That feeling is common among witnesses. The children almost always ask to be let inside. Sometimes they say they need to use the phone. Sometimes they ask for help. Sometimes they simply say they are scared and need to come in. They never enter without permission. And once permission is given, the stories stop being vague. A woman in Vermont reported a knock on her door near midnight. When she opened it, she found 2 children standing on her porch. A boy and a girl, both unusually pale, both wearing clothes inappropriate for the cold weather. They asked to come inside to wait for their parents. She hesitated, holding the doorframe tightly. She later said the instinct to protect children fought against an overwhelming sense of dread. Her body was telling her to run, but her conscience told her to help. She noticed the children never blinked. When she finally looked into their eyes, her stomach dropped. Black. She slammed the door shut and locked it. For the next several minutes, she heard soft knocking continue, followed by quiet whispers she could not fully understand. When she finally looked through the window, the porch was empty. That same night, her home lost power. Her phone stopped working, and she felt sick for days afterward. These children appear in many forms, but the details stay consistent. They are often seen at night or during storms. They stand too close. They speak politely, but without emotion. They seem confused by simple social cues, as if learning how humans behave. And always, the eyes. There are theories about what they are. Some believe they are demons. Others say aliens attempting to mimic human children. There are darker theories suggesting they are the spirits of children who died violently, trapped between worlds. One theory suggests they are something even older. Native American folklore speaks of dark-eyed spirits that roam at night, testing hospitality. Those who invite them inside suffer illness, madness, or death. Those who refuse are spared, but never forget what they saw. A police officer in Oregon reported encountering black-eyed children while responding to a call in a rural area. A woman claimed children were trying to get into her home. When the officer arrived, he saw 2 figures standing at the edge of her driveway. By the time he approached, they had already begun walking away into the trees. He followed them on foot for several minutes before losing sight of them. He later stated that during the pursuit, His radio malfunctioned, his flashlight flickered, and the forest went eerily silent. No insects, no wind, no sound at all. When he returned to his cruiser, the children were gone. No footprints, no evidence they had ever been there. The woman moved out within a week. Not every encounter happens at a house. Truck drivers have reported seeing black-eyed children standing on the side of highways in the middle of the night, sometimes waving, sometimes just staring. Anyone who stops often regrets it. One driver claimed he slowed down when he saw a child crying near a rest area. As he opened his door, the child lifted its head. Black eyes. He described an immediate feeling of being invaded, as if something was digging into his mind. He shut the door and drove away. In his rearview mirror, the child never moved. It simply watched him leave. For months afterward, he experienced vivid nightmares of knocking and whispering voices asking to be let in. Psychologists who have studied witness reports struggle to explain the consistency. Mass hysteria could explain similarities, but not the physical effects reported afterward. Sudden illnesses, unexplained anxiety, electrical malfunctions, nightmares that feel shared. Many witnesses say the same thing. The children do not force anything. They wait, they ask, they rely on consent. In one particularly disturbing case, a man in California claimed he allowed a black-eyed child into his home. His story is rare because most people refuse to speak after giving permission. He said the child stood motionless in his living room. It did not look around. It did not sit down. It simply stood there, staring. He tried to speak, but no sound came out. The child then asked in a calm voice if anyone else was home. When he shook his head no, the lights went out. He does not remember what happened next. He woke up hours later on the floor. The child was gone. His home was freezing cold, and every mirror in the house was cracked. He moved out immediately and refuses to discuss details beyond that night. Some researchers believe black-eyed children are not malicious in the way people expect. They may be observers, or collectors, or warnings. Others believe they are predators that feed on fear, consent, or something even more personal. The most chilling aspect of the legend is this: the children never age. Reports from the 1970s describe the same faces reported in the 1990s. And modern encounters describe children who look identical. Same height, same expressions, same voices. If they are human, they should have grown old by now. But they haven't. Across the country, people share warnings online. Never open the door. Never invite them inside. Never engage longer than necessary. Trust your instincts, even if it feels cruel. Because every story agrees on one thing. The fear doesn't come from how they look at you. It comes from how familiar they feel. As if they already know you. As if they've been inside before. The next time you hear a knock late at night, look through the window first. Look carefully. And if you see two children with dark, empty eyes, do not open the door. Do not speak to them. Do not invite them in. Because once you do, the story may not end with you. If this story made you uncomfortable, like the video, share it with someone who enjoys urban legends. And subscribe for more stories from around the world that will make you think twice before answering the door at night. The woman with the slit-mouthed dot in Japan. There is a belief that some spirits are born from betrayal, shame, and unanswered pain. These spirits do not haunt houses. They do not stay in one place. They walk among the living, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to ask a single question. Kuchisake-Onna is one of them. Her story has been passed down for generations, whispered to children walking home alone, and warned about by parents who know better than to laugh at old legends. She is not loud. She does not scream. She approaches calmly, politely, like a normal stranger. That is what makes her dangerous. According to legend, Kuchisake-Onna was once a beautiful woman. Some stories say she was the wife of a wealthy samurai. Others claim she was simply admired by many, which sparked jealousy and suspicion. What all versions agree on is this: her beauty became the reason for her suffering. Consumed by paranoia, her husband accused her of being unfaithful. Blinded by rage, he attacked her, slicing the corners of her mouth from ear to ear. As she bled, he asked her if she still thought she was beautiful. She died smiling through pain, and she came back with the same smile carved into her face. Today, Kuchisake-Onna is said to wander the streets of Japan late at night. She wears a long coat or trench coat and covers the lower half of her face with a surgical mask, something common enough that it draws no attention. To anyone who sees her, she looks like an ordinary woman walking alone, until she speaks. She approaches her victims quietly, often children or people walking by themselves. Her voice is soft and calm when she asks a question. Am I pretty? Most people answer without thinking. Yes. When they do, she slowly removes her mask. Her mouth is split open, stretching impossibly wide, revealing torn flesh and exposed teeth. Blood sometimes drips, sometimes it doesn't, but the smile is always there. Then she asks again. How about now? If the victim screams or says no, she becomes violent. Some versions say she cuts their mouth to match hers. Others say she kills them instantly, her laughter echoing down the empty streets. If the victim says yes again, believing honesty will spare them, she still attacks. In some stories, she says that if they think she is beautiful now, they should look just like her. There are no correct answers. During the late 1970s, reports of Kuchisake-Onna sightings spread rapidly across Japan. Children refused to walk home alone. Schools issued warnings. Parents escorted their kids in groups. Some towns reported masked women approaching students near school gates, asking the same haunting question. Police were called. Patrols were increased. They found nothing, just empty streets and frightened people. Witnesses often described the same details. Her footsteps made no sound. Her shadow moved unnaturally. And when she disappeared, it was as if she had never been there at all. Some claim she can outrun cars. Others say she appears suddenly, as if stepping out of thin air. One teacher reported seeing her standing at a crosswalk late in the evening. When the light changed, everyone crossed except her. When the teacher turned back, she was gone. The mask was lying on the ground. A common belief says she carries a pair of scissors or a knife hidden inside her coat. Victims sometimes report the metallic sound of blades scraping together just before she reveals her face. Despite the terror surrounding her, people have attempted to find ways to survive an encounter. Some say answering, "You are average," confuses her, giving you time to escape. Others believe throwing candy or money distracts her, as she was known to be vain in life. There is also a belief that answering with another question causes hesitation, but no method is guaranteed. People who claim to have escaped often report lingering effects, nightmares of smiling faces, fear of masks, the constant sensation of being watched from behind. In modern Japan, sightings have adapted to the times. Some claim she no longer wears a surgical mask, but a scarf or hood. Others say she uses abandoned train stations or quiet alleys instead of neighborhoods. Urban cameras have never clearly captured her face. Footage always cuts out or blurs at the exact moment she should appear. There are recordings of voices asking the same question in empty streets. No source. No visible speaker. Children still whisper her name during dares. Teenagers test their courage by walking home late. Most never see anything, but some swear they felt someone walking beside them, matching their pace, breathing steadily. The reason Kuchisake-Onna endures may be because she represents something deeply human. Fear of judgment, obsession with appearance, the pain of being defined by how others see you. She does not hunt randomly. She waits for vulnerability. There are reports of people encountering her near hospitals, mirrors, and train platforms. Places where people reflect. Places where they hesitate. Places where a simple question feels heavier than it should. The most chilling part of the legend is not her violence, but her patience. She gives you time to answer. She lets you speak. She waits for your response, knowing that no matter what you say, the outcome has already been decided. Some believe she is not trying to harm, but to prove something. To force others to confront the cruelty of shallow beauty and empty praise. Others believe she wants company. Someone who shares her smile. Someone who will never look away again. If you ever find yourself walking alone at night in Japan, and a woman approaches you wearing a mask, stop and listen carefully. Look at where you are. Notice how quiet everything suddenly feels. And when she asks you if she is pretty, remember this. Silence may be your only chance. If this story unsettled you, like the video, share it with someone who enjoys urban legends, and subscribe for more stories from different countries that refuse to fade into history. The woman who never stopped crying. In Mexico, there is a warning passed quietly from one generation to the next. It is not written on signs, and it is not taught in school. It is whispered between parents and children, especially when night falls and the wind carries sounds that do not belong. If you hear a woman crying near the river, do not follow her. That is how the legend of La Llorona begins. Long before cities and highways, there lived a woman named Maria. She was known for her beauty and her kindness, admired by many and envied by others. When a wealthy man took interest in her, she believed her life had finally changed. He promised her love, stability, and a future far from poverty. Together, they had children. For a time, Maria believed she was living the life she deserved. But as years passed, the man grew distant. His visits became shorter, his promises weaker. Eventually, he left her completely, choosing a woman of higher status and leaving Maria alone with her children. Abandonment broke something inside her. Maria struggled to survive, doing everything she could to care for her children. But the love she once felt slowly twisted into resentment. Every time she looked at her children, she was reminded of the man who left, of the life she lost, of the future she believed was stolen from her. One night, Maria walked with her children toward the river. The moon was bright. The water was calm. The world felt eerily quiet, as if it were holding its breath. What happened at the river that night is never described the same way twice, but all versions end the same. By sunrise, the children were gone. When Maria realized what she had done, reality crashed down on her. Her screams echoed across the water as she ran along the riverbanks, calling their names over and over. Villagers claimed they heard her cries long after her voice should have failed. Some say she drowned herself in grief. Others say she simply vanished. But no one believes she ever found peace. Soon after, people began seeing a woman dressed in white wandering near rivers, lakes, and canals. She cried endlessly, clutching at the air as if searching for something just out of reach. Her voice carried far in the night, filled with sorrow and madness. They called her La Llorona, the weeping woman. At first, sightings were rare. Farmers spotted her near fields. Travelers glimpsed her silhouette near bridges. Children claimed to hear her crying near the water at night. As time went on, the encounters became more frequent. Those who followed her cries were never seen again. A strange detail appears in nearly every encounter. When her cries sound distant, she is close. When they sound close, she is far away. People who misunderstand this often make the last mistake of their lives. A man from a small village once followed the sound, believing someone was hurt. As he reached the river, the crying stopped. The air grew cold. When he turned back, La Llorona stood behind him, her face pale and her eyes hollow. He survived, but he never spoke again. Children are warned not to stay near water after sunset. Parents claim La Llorona mistakes wandering children for her own, dragging them into the water in a desperate attempt to fill the emptiness she can never escape. Others say she does not mistake them at all. She knows exactly what she is doing. There are stories of travelers encountering her on empty roads late at night. She appears standing still, her white dress glowing faintly in the dark. When approached, she begins to cry. Those who stop their vehicles sometimes report hearing whispers inside their minds, calling them closer. Many of these people vanish without explanation. Some who survive report sickness afterward, nightmares, a persistent sound of crying that no one else hears. They speak of wet footprints appearing in their homes, leading nowhere. In modern times, La Llorona has not disappeared. Instead, she has adapted. Sightings now occur near highways, drainage canals, and city rivers. Security cameras sometimes capture a faint white figure near water before malfunctioning completely. Audio recordings pick up crying, even when no one is present. Researchers debate whether La Llorona is a ghost, a demon, or a psychological phenomenon rooted in generational trauma. But explanations mean little to those who have heard her voice echo through the night. One priest claimed, La Llorona is trapped between worlds, cursed to relive her final regret for eternity. He said she is not evil by nature, but broken beyond repair. Her punishment is endless awareness. Others believe she is a warning rather than a threat, a reminder of what neglect, obsession, and betrayal can do to the human soul. There is a version of the legend that rarely gets told. In it, La Llorona does not take children at all. Instead, she targets parents who abandon or harm their own. Those who neglect their responsibilities feel watched, followed, judged. They hear crying late at night, even far from water. In these stories, La Llorona does not scream. She whispers. Her final appearance is often described the same way. She stands at the edge of the river, staring into the reflection, as if still searching for her children in the water below. Her dress drips, her hair hangs heavy and dark, and she cries. Not for forgiveness, not for mercy, but because she remembers everything. If you ever walk alone at night and hear a woman crying near the water, stop. Do not answer. Do not follow. Walk away slowly and do not look back. Because some legends do not want attention. They want company. If this story disturbed you, like the video, share it with someone who enjoys dark legends, and subscribe for more stories from around the world that refuse to be forgotten. In Manila, there is a road that people avoid after dark. It is lined with tall balete trees, their thick roots and twisted branches giving the street an otherworldly appearance. The road is quiet, shadowed, and still. At first glance, it appears ordinary, just another street in the bustling city. But locals know better. They call it Balete Drive, and they know the story of the White Lady. According to legend, decades ago, a young woman died tragically on this road. Some say she was hit by a car while walking home. Others say she was attacked, betrayed by someone she trusted. No matter the version, all accounts agree on one thing. She died alone, in pain, and her spirit could not rest. People began to report seeing a woman in white walking along the street at night. She is pale, almost glowing under the streetlights. Her hair is long and black, flowing like ink across her shoulders. She wears a white dress that seems to sway with every movement, even when there is no wind. It is not just her appearance that terrifies. It is the feeling she leaves behind. Motorists who drive along Balete Drive at night report seeing her suddenly appear in the middle of the road. She does not move to the side. She does not give warning. She simply stands there, staring, waiting. Some say she raises a hand, signaling them to stop. Some say she disappears the moment headlights shine on her. Many drivers experience the same thing, a sudden chill, the feeling of being watched, tires skidding on dry asphalt for no reason, cars stalling, radios crackling, cell phones losing signal. Those who stop to look often see her eyes first, deep, hollow, black, and filled with sorrow. Her gaze pierces through them, making it impossible to look away. Some drivers have claimed they felt compelled to exit their vehicles, as if drawn by an unseen force. Those who resist report seeing her vanish into thin air, only to reappear moments later on the roadside, closer than before. The most famous story involves a young man driving home late one night. He was returning from a friend's house when he entered Balete Drive. Almost immediately, he felt a chill crawl along his spine. The streetlights flickered. The shadows of the balete trees stretched unnaturally across the road. And then he saw her. She was standing in the middle of the street, wearing a long, flowing white gown. Her head tilted slightly, hair covering part of her face. Her eyes glimmered black in the darkness. The young man instinctively slowed down, but the car seemed to move as if through mud, struggling to respond. He rolled down his window, hoping to catch a glimpse of reality. She raised her hand slowly, beckoning him to come closer. Fear rooted him in his seat. He could not look away. He could not move. Suddenly she stepped closer, and the chill intensified. The hair that partially covered her face shifted, revealing her features. The young man gasped. Her mouth was open in a silent scream, her face twisted with sorrow and rage at the same time. He slammed on the brakes, tires squealing. When he looked again, she was gone. But the feeling lingered. The sense that she had reached inside his mind, touched something he could not explain, and left a mark. Since then, the young man never drove along Balete Drive again. He refuses to speak of what happened, but his friends say he flinches whenever the topic comes up. Other reports claim that she can appear in cars. Passengers see her reflected in rearview mirrors, sitting in the back seat when no one is there. Some even report her leaning over the steering wheel, whispering names in a voice only the driver can hear. There are theories about the White Lady. Some say she is the spirit of a woman who died tragically, seeking justice for a life cut short. Others believe she is a warning for those who drive recklessly at night. a supernatural presence tied to the energy of the road itself. Many locals believe her sorrow is too great for her to leave. The Balete trees themselves are thought to hold her essence. Their twisted roots and thick branches act as vessels, keeping her tethered to the street. The legend says that even if she finds peace, the road will continue to draw her back, because the memories of her death are embedded in the asphalt, the trees, and the shadows. Stories of encounters on Balete Drive continue to this day. A taxi driver reported seeing a woman in white while waiting at a stoplight. She appeared silently, standing on the median, her gaze fixed on the car. The driver claims he could feel her stare from inside, as if she could see every fear, every regret, every secret he held. Another story involves a group of teenagers daring each other to walk the street at midnight. One by one, they reported feeling invisible hands brush against them, cold breath on their necks, and a deep sense of sorrow pressing down on their chests. None of them saw the white lady directly that night, but all heard her crying faintly in the distance, a sound so full of grief it felt like it could consume anyone. Some even claim that photographing her is dangerous. Cameras fail, photos become distorted. Her image appears in ways that are not possible, like floating in midair, behind car seats, or in mirrors where there was nothing to reflect. There are ways, some say, to avoid her. Do not drive alone after dark. Avoid Balete Drive if possible. If confronted, do not answer, do not speak, and do not invite her into your thoughts. Some believe she is drawn to attention, to recognition. Ignore her, and she may move on, but many do not. The White Lady of Balete Drive remains one of the most enduring urban legends in the Philippines. She is a cautionary tale, a shadow of sorrow embedded in the night. She is a reminder that some spirits are bound by more than death. They are bound by injustice, by grief, and by memories that refuse to fade. Even today, those who pass by the road after dark report the same feelings. A chill that creeps along the spine, the sense of being watched, the subtle, sorrowful cries carried by the wind. They know that if they are not careful, if they do not respect the road and the darkness, they may encounter the White Lady herself. Some say she has forgiven nothing. Some say she seeks nothing. She simply exists, a guardian of the forgotten, the lost, and the sorrowful. And for anyone who drives along Balete Drive at night, the lesson is clear. Pay attention, drive carefully, and never, ever underestimate the eyes that watch from the shadows. If this story unsettled you, like the video, share it with someone who loves urban legends, and subscribe for more chilling tales from around the world that refuse to rest.
If these chilling legends gave you goosebumps, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe TonybotAI.